And you know, it is just little things like that.
Yeah.
Asking your friends how
How?
they're doing. The men, especially the men.
I want to share with you something. So yesterday I came to work in a boat, right? So immediately I entered the vehicle. I greeted the driver and I asked, "How are you?" Then he turns to me and says, "Boss, I'm not fine at all. I've been going through so many issues. I need someone to talk to." And then he told me everything. And so that question, "How are you?"
It is crucial, especially you must ask it like you mean it, though.
Yeah.
You know, not like a perfunctory greeting, but like you mean it. Like, inquire after your friends while we're talking, while you're listening to us right now. As long as you're not driving, take your phone, right? Go through the last few people you've talked to, the men among them. Just text them. Start with their name and ask them, "How are you doing?" Really, how are you doing? Okay, and let's let's just observe the responses we get. Bro.
It's not a laughing matter, but I'm just wondering if I didn't ask how he was doing, he wouldn't have spoken to me about what he was going through. I give some piece of advice. I hope he takes it. But I guess it was helpful that he at least had somebody to talk to.
At least.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what else he might have thought of doing if he felt like he had no options, he had no way out? Because that is what led young Justice to call us yesterday.
Wow.
To call into Lexus's show. The guy had already bought the rope.
Hey.
He was on his way to hang himself. Marital problems. Marital problems. And you see, that's the thing about tough times. Tough times will magnify all problems. You know?
Yeah.
If you're struggling with work or with money, every problem is bigger than it would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
So as a man, as a human being with a finite capacity for bearing weight, what do you do when it becomes too much? And the problem is nobody actually cares. Nobody cares how you feel. Nobody. Not your wife, not your dependents. No, what they care about is that you are performing. You must be performing. Your duty must be fulfilled. That's what they care about. That's what they care about. So if you are sad, like a man, you are sad, who do you call?
You know, you say stuff like Obama and Sue, stuff like as a man you have to keep everything within. You don't have to show emotions, you don't have to say how you feel about things. You have to be a man, man up, you know.
Why have we turned society into this? Why have we turned the expectation on men, you know, to be that they must have no feelings or they must suppress their feelings? And that is now a mark of being a successful man. And if you
a strong man,
thank you. If you dare tell someone your deepest, darkest fears, now you become beholden to that person because they know your secret. You know, and sometimes even without intending to, people use information like that against you. So who do you turn to? Who do men turn to?
Well, I'd like to say good morning to Lexus if he's doing the listening. I hear he had to leave his show yesterday to go be with Justice. Wow.
What a tough evening, you know, it was for all of them.
God bless him.
Indeed. He intervened as he should. And thank God for that. God alone knows how else that could have ended. Anyway, today our conversation is all about that. It's all about that. But please, text your friends right now. Text them. Ask your male friends how they are doing. You'll be shocked at some of the answers. Right now, though, the 6 a.m. news is brought to you by Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. And Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner. Akwafu, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good this morning.
Yeah? You're not just saying that. You're not just bearing up.
I'm okay. I'm fine. I've got people like you around me.
We thank God. If there's anything you want to talk about, you know where I am,
sure
bro.
Thing.
You know where I am. Okay.
Sure thing.
Because you started from I'm good, then you came to I'm okay. And you settled with I'm fine. So Charlie, talk to me.
I will. Definitely will.
All right, bro. All right. So listen, it's time for the Joy Business Report, and it's coming to you from the very good Akwafu. And it's brought to us by the kindness of Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Hope you're doing fine, everyone. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, we'll hear from a former Deputy UN Secretary General pushing for decent debt restructuring deal for Ghana's creditors, prepared to announce financing assurance soon. Also, government debunks notion its policies are unfriendly and crippling local businesses. Plus, lost position of banks in Ghana may continue into next year. We'll hear from a senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Stay with us. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us, everyone. First up, a former Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Mark Brown, is pushing for decent debt restructuring deal for Ghana. The Paris Club of Bilateral Creditors is set to begin formal debt restructuring negotiations with Ghana and possibly announce a financing assurance for the country. Now, Mr. Brown, who is currently the president of the Open Society Foundation, told Joy Business in Washington, D.C., where the IMF World Bank Spring meetings was held, that the current challenges facing Ghana are not purely due to internal factors.
Ghana is but not without fault. There are clearly, issues with its borrowing levels and, its exposure in terms of borrowing commercially, in the euro bond market, which have complicated its situation. It had the luxury of being the poster boy for Western lending and credit and investment in the sub-region, and is now paying a grim price for that. But Ghana, like other countries on the continent, was knocked sideways by external factors could not have foreseen, and which nobody in the world foresaw. Nobody saw COVID. Nobody saw Russia's invasion of Ukraine and its impact on energy prices and food prices. And so you shouldn't punish countries for these external factors. Instead, you should, find terms which help them manage their way through it and which protect the livelihoods of ordinary Ghanaians or Zambians as they do so.
Mark Brown is a former Deputy UN Secretary General. Meanwhile, the U.S. Development Finance Corporation has announced that it is set to resume sovereign lending to Ghana as well as explore private sector lending to the country. The chief executive of the U.S. Development Finance giant disclosed this during a meeting with the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta at the IMF World Bank Spring meetings. The Development Corporation was forced to freeze lending to Ghana due to some issues with the University of Ghana on how credit guarantee issues were handled. Now, the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobit, says a plight of businesses at the ports will worsen. This follows a signing into law of three taxes, namely the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022, the Growth and Stability Levy Bill, and the Income Tax Amendment Bill by President Akufo-Addo. He tells Joy Business the unfriendly business environment in the country is gradually pushing businesses out to neighboring countries.
Yeah, last week another person told me that by July they are going to open a company or start doing business in Ivory Coast. They have lost confidence in the Ghanaian community now. Yes, we may have a political stability. We are not fighting among ourselves. There's no conflict here. But with the president and this government, taxes has introduced conflict against business community. Both foreigners and Ghanaians who are doing business in Ghana now, if you ask them, they tell you this government does not listen.
Samson Asaki Awingobit is Chief Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Now, government has debunked the notion its policies are unfriendly and crippling local businesses. This comes after several reports indicating that port activities in recent times have declined. Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Michael Tribefi says government is putting out various measures to ensure the growth of local businesses across all sectors.
Clearly, government's intention is to encourage businesses that originate from Ghana. and for that matter, we were able to grow these businesses to become anchor businesses one day. That's exactly what government is pursuing now. So I guess maybe the situation that is happening is as a result of the fact that a lot of Ghanaians have now ventured into manufacturing and they are producing more here. So it has declined exportation of such goods or similar goods that hitherto would have been exported to town. So that's exactly what is happening. But apart from that, note that government's intention is not also to cripple any business.
You heard Michael Chibefi, who is Deputy Trade and Industry Minister. Now, the lost position of banks in Ghana may continue to next year. That's according to a senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amwa. Banks in Ghana are said to have lost about 15 billion cedis as a result of the impact of the domestic debt exchange program on the operations. This has called for an increase in the minimum capital requirement of banks. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Amwa said even without the domestic debt exchange program, banks would have to still show up their capital because of exchange rate losses.
It is simply the reflection of what has happened in the economy over the past, year or so, and the fact that these banks also operate within the economy. So whatever happens in the bigger economy will definitely reflect on the performance of the banks and to a large extent on the balance sheets of these banks. So it is not surprising that the banks are reporting some of this bad performance for this particular year, and maybe hopefully even next year, because we are still not at the end of this challenge that we currently face.
Dr. Benjamin Amwa, senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. The non-classification of government bonds and certain instruments as risk-free instruments are compelling investors entering the capital market to be cautious. According to the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Corporate Trustees, Thomas Kwesiesu, this is due to the many losses incurred by some local investors as a result of the domestic debt exchange program. He believes the time has come for government to turn things around to regain confidence in the bond market.
If we should tell you how much losses or how much coupons that a lot of the companies have impaired in their books and the amount of losses that have been declared, then you can have it risk-free for a certain period of time. But at a go, when there's a domestic exchange program, then all the risk-free that you have enjoyed have just accumulated into a single loss that will affect your finances and your investments so huge. So yes, we can be talking about the theory of risk-free of government bonds, but the experience we have had is that all over the world, we've seen certain countries going through debt exchange program where investors have actually lost, due to the haircut and etc. So we will still continue to invest, but we'll still continue to invest cautiously at the back of our mind that government bonds are now not totally risk-free as we used to say.
You heard Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Corporate Trustees, Thomas Kwesiesu. Now, some stakeholders operating under the platform of the Intra-Africa Trade have made the call to stop trade abuses being perpetrated through the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to them, the system is being abused by some African countries importing goods outside the continent by pushing for exemptions under the AFTA. Now, speaking of the issue, Group Executive or Executive Director of AFTA Policy Network Ghana, Louise Yao Afo, pointed out that custom officials are required to stop such goods from being categorized as AFTA products.
That most of the products are coming from India. The question you ask yourself is, where is the destination? If it's coming from outside Africa, the rules of origin say that the reason why we are coming under free trade is that we said that there is a need for preferential treatment among AFTA member states. Any product that is coming outside Africa should be subjected to tariffs and duties. Therefore, if the product is coming outside Africa into a free trade area and is coming into a member state, it is the responsibility of that member state to subject that product to stringent customer procedures. Most of the time, if it is under corrupt officials, then they are not going to give any concessions at all.
Group Executive Director of AFTA Policy Network Ghana, Louise Yao Afo there. You are listening to the Joy Business Report. Now, a challenge with finding the appropriate skincare product while she was out of her home country, that is Ghana, got Victoria Ifwagbai to explore the use of authentic African ingredients to make beauty products. The experiment resulted in the birth of a skincare brand, Bubune, which currently has 8 products to its name. The Joy Business van features beauty startup Bubune Africa today. Here's a bit of it.
Hi, Joy Business Van. My name is Victoria Ifwagbai. Welcome to Bubune Africa. I'm an international trade advisor, and I started Bubune Africa almost 4 years ago, and we're into the production of value-added natural cosmetic products. And we realized that our top sellers were the body lotion, the body butter, and the black soap gel. So we decided to focus on that and really improve it. And with time, people started asking for hair care products. So we just launched our shampoo and conditioner. So currently we have about 8 products. We want to start selling internationally. We would like to be able to establish an oil processing facility, because there's a huge demand for our local oils like the neem and the baobab, but we need machinery to be able to do that.
Alrighty, tune in, get inspired to create something on your own. Catch the Joy Business Van at 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report, 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel. Let's check the markets as we head out this morning. On the currency market, the dollar going for 12 cedis 5 pesos. That's on the forex or retail market. The pound going for 14 cedis 70 pesos, and the euro selling at 13 cedis 5 pesos. On the commodity market, crude oil still trading at $84 a barrel after dropping marginally. Gold is selling at $2,003 an ounce. Cocoa increased by $46 to open traded at $2,965 a ton. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl. Thanks for listening. And here's Wednesday to continue with the show, the Super Morning Show here on Joy 99.7 FM.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, it's an important question to ask. You are always concerned about the city.
Yes.